Hey Phil, how's it going? I think your video was good. Your video brought up a lot of excellent points. Um, we gotta back up a little bit though, because I gotta say, one, I can't explain everything, and there are a lot of things about the Christian faith that don't I don't know how to talk about them. So all I can talk about so far is my experience. And I think that while this may seem like I'm avoiding your questions, I don't think it is, because I'm still looking at this as just the beginning of our conversation, and we'll get there. You know, forgive me for having to back up a little bit, but let's hopefully you'll enjoy this engagement, and we'll get to your questions a little later. Um, for starters, just to give a little background, I grew up Catholic as a child, and I wasn't terribly religious, but I believed in God. I got baptized, First Communion, Confirmation, and then about age 12, stopped going to church. My parents got divorced, and it was no longer the family wasn't obviously together, so Sundays were kind of hit or miss. And eventually it became, well, if you want to go to church, go. If you don't. By the time you're driving yourself at age 16, then you're in high school, the partying, the drinking, everything kind of sets in, and by then I really wasn't going at all. And in fact, I did do science. Thought I was going to med school. I took a whole bunch of science classes in high school. I took all the college level AP classes. Set off to college to become a doctor. My dad was a doctor. I was around that all my life growing up. And at this time, I was also I don't even know exactly when I became an atheist. I'm 39 years old now. I believe I became an atheist about age 18. And it had a lot to do with being frustrated with the world, had a lot to do with being, thinking it was an absurd idea. Why would there be a God? There isn't anything. Science does explain it. Religion has proved itself over and over again to just be a means of oppressing, controlling, murdering people. What is that all about? How can you believe these crazy stories? I took philosophy classes, I took history classes, and I took religion history classes, and the whole idea that every religion seemed to be telling the same story, only slightly different, to me was proof in and of itself. It's like, okay, you guys just copied these other guys. So I was there. I understand all that. And I was, a devout atheist. I used to joke around that I sold my soul for eternal youth. And uh, coincidentally or not coincidentally, I was also I was very much living for the moment. I believed it was just here now. Our time on this planet is all we got. When you die, you die. So it's, enjoy it as much as you can. I believed, live, do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anybody. And I think that we'll definitely have some more conversations there, because I think there's a lot of confusion about what really is hurting people. And I think a lot of people think that a lot of consensual acts of any kind or many kinds don't really hurt people. But look at society, it's totally effed up. And I think that is a direct direct result of people being so desensitized to everything, because everything has become consensual now. But that's a whole nother topic. So anyway, back to my experience. I'm an atheist for 18 years, and I came to faith 4 years ago through what I will consider, and many who have heard my stories consider, to be a series of coincidental miracles. And I didn't read the Bible. When I first came to faith in God, I just believed God existed because of what had happened in my life. And I didn't believe the Bible. I didn't believe that the teachings of the Christian, well, I didn't know really the Christian faith anymore. I had forgotten it. I hadn't read anything from the Bible since I was about 12 years old. And so my whole return to faith had nothing to do with the Bible at all. Zip, nada. I didn't think that at the time that drinking was wrong. I didn't think that sex was wrong. I didn't think that any of the stuff was wrong. And it all had to do with my experience. And since then, I've had so many, like I said, what I'll call coincidental experiences, that it just doesn't seem possible that something would be set in motion a billion years ago, or whatever the date is. I don't even know, and I don't know if that's showing my ignorance or what, but I'll admit that I am ignorant on that subject, that something would be set in motion where you're telling me that some of this stuff would happen. And unfortunately, I think a lot of my return to faith and sharing that has been about trying to prove through these coincidences that God exists. And while the coincidences are, I think they're amazing, some people think I'm trying too hard to connect the dots. And I'm going to share a couple here in a minute, so you can see for yourself if I'm trying too hard. But what's sad about that is I'm kind of missing my point, because at some point I need to get over the coincidences and start really sharing with people about love. And we'll do more of that too. But okay, so here's the deal. It's kind of a long story, and I actually wrote this out. I might even start to post that on, I don't even know if I can post large text documents on this site or not. I've got a blog going where I'm going to start to post this story. But I drank a lot. Not an addict, but certainly an abuser. And I've got 4 years ago I got a DWI. I don't know if you have that in England or what you call it over there. I'm assuming you're actually from England. I don't even know. But drunk driving. And it wasn't my first one. It was actually the third one I got in my life. And it was actually within the statute of limitations from the last one I had before that. So I was facing a second offense, and that's pretty serious here in the States. I live in the state of Texas, and here it's a second offense is 6 months to a year in jail, huge fines, year-long probation, which carries with it large costs, huge amount of hours of community service. You have to have a breathalyzer in your car, all that stuff. And so I go out and I get this DWI, and my life up to this point is total atheism, total live here now for me, as long as I'm not hurting anybody, although I think I was totally hurting myself this whole time. And I got this DWI. I'm in a very low point in my life. It's a very dark moment. I can't believe it, and I don't really want to share with my family because I'm too embarrassed. I don't have a lot of friends outside of bar acquaintances, so I'm really going through this alone. I'm definitely in a place where I want my life to change, and maybe just saying that is going to make you say, oh, well, because you wanted your life to change, these things happen. But when I got arrested, when I got pulled over that night, I went ahead and blew, did the breathalyzer,